Welcome back to my channel, everybody. My name is Debbie. I am Debbie Drama. Now, you see, the sun has gone. The temperature has dropped. It is officially jumper weather, which I love because I love this thing so much because it's got like a little hood on it. I mean, look at this. I look like a little witch with my little point, but yeah, I love this jumper. But that can only mean one thing. Book review. Anyway, I've got a cup of tea here, and this isn't really like a book review. This is kind of a book review with a twist, I guess. I was inspired to do this because I watched a TV series that had been adapted from a book, and I thought I would have a little chat about book to film / television adaptations, because I thought it was an interesting thing to think about. Now, I assume the first things that people will think of when it comes to books being turned into films and TV series and things like that would be stuff like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, Hunger Games, that kind of thing. I was watching a series called Sharp Objects. I knew it was a book originally, and I watched the series first. And to be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of the series. It just, for me, it was the pacing of it, and I think it has to do with the fact that the whole series, which was 8 episodes, I think, but it had been adapted from one single book. One book became like 8 episodes, and I think that's where the pacing issues for me kind of came from, because when you're adapting one book into that many hour-long episodes, you kind of have to drag it out a little bit, and I think that's what happened, because Amy Adams was absolutely fantastic in it, but for me it started off really slowly, and I kept thinking, is something actually going to happen? Because at the beginning, obviously, because it's a murder mystery, spoiler, so straight away kind of you know about who's dead. It starts off with the deaths, and then it kind of didn't seem to go anywhere for a few episodes, and then they were quite quick to wrap it up in the last like 2 episodes, but then it didn't really have a proper ending. I feel I was just like, I was there thinking, are they hoping to do another series to kind of explain what they did with the first? And so yeah, the pacing for me wasn't that great. But obviously, because I knew it was based on a book, I went back and I downloaded the book and I read it, and the book was so good. It's by Gillian Flynn, who also wrote Gone Girl. It's called Sharp Objects, and the book is very good. It was a couple 100 pages. I probably read it in a couple of hours over about 2 nights, I think. It was a very good book, and the ending of the book, even though I already knew who did it, the ending of the book is different to the ending of the series. The ending of the series is very blunt, like when it comes to like who did it. It kind of ends with, this is the person who did it, but you're not getting anything else. You're not getting to know why they did it. Whereas the book, it finishes obviously with who did it, and then it kind of takes you back slightly so you can understand kind of the motives behind it and why they did it, kind of thing. I'm not going to say who did it, because obviously that would be a massive spoiler in regards to the book and the series. I feel like the book did a better job of explaining it, whereas the series, it's almost like they were wanting to bring it back so they could explain it. I definitely recommend reading the book. If you like things that just are a little bit slower, aren't as fast paced, then you will probably enjoy the series. When it comes to Big Little Lies, I have watched both series and I really enjoyed it. I felt like it wasn't as slow as Sharp Objects. It had a little bit more stuff happening, you know, and it wasn't just about kind of the whodunit kind of thing. The first series kind of twisted the whodunit on its head, where you know somebody's dead, but you don't know who. In the first series, it's all about trying to figure out who is dead. And then the second series kind of moves on from that, about, you know, the secrets that are hidden and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I definitely need to read the book because it's by Leanne Moriarty. Having enjoyed the first series very much and seeing the reaction to series 2, I mean, I actually enjoyed series 2, and I kind of like the fact that they've left it somewhere where they can finish it there if they don't or can't bring it back. When I finished series 2, I was there thinking, where would it go after that? I guess you'd look at the aftermath of the end of series 2. I'm trying to be careful what I say because I don't want to spoil anything too much here. But yeah, so that's one where I definitely want to read the book so I can understand the first series a bit more, I guess. Series 1 was hard to watch at certain points, especially when you had like the Celeste storyline with Nicole Kidman, who, it just reminded me how good Nicole Kidman actually is. Her as Celeste in Big Little Lies is just the most heartbreaking story, and it was acted so well. You can't deny the talent of the people in it, because I feel like it wasn't just about the star casting. Because yeah, you've got the celebs in there who are going to bring people in, but at the same time, all of them are so good. I mean, Laura Dern is just brilliant. Reese Witherspoon, I mean, again, I guess you kind of forget how good she is, especially when you remember her for like the rom-coms and stuff. You forget that she is actually a really good actress. I can watch a film and I'm not there thinking that's Reese Witherspoon. I'm kind of brought into whatever character she's playing. There are some actors, it's like when you think of like Meryl Streep or Tom Hanks. When you watch a film with Meryl Streep or Tom Hanks or somebody like that, and you're watching it, you're not there thinking that's Meryl Streep. I'm there thinking, wow, they completely embody that character really well. Because it's like, I must admit, when I first heard that Meryl Streep was going to be the witch in Into the Woods, I was a bit like, really? And then she was like one of my favourite parts of the film, because it was just like, yes. I mean, I was a bit annoyed about some of the lyric changes, but at the same time, Meryl Streep as the witch was kind of one of the greatest things I'd ever seen. Yeah, this is going on to a little thing about stunt casting, which I want to kind of move along from that subject, because this is about the comparison. If we go to like probably the most famous example, at least for my generation, Harry Potter. I mean, I love the books. Was it 96 the first book came out? So I would have been like 7 when the first book came out. And I grew up with it, having been like the first generation to read it. And then when the movie came out, the actors were the same age as me. So then I had that other level of watching it and thinking, you know, oh, I could have been in the film. Because I mean, for what it was an amazing adaptation. I mean, with any adaptation, it's never going to be completely perfect, especially with the earlier films. They were doing one film per book. I mean, obviously with like the last couple, they kind of split it. But yeah, it's just one of those ones where you're just like, would it work better as a series where they can take one book and dedicate a series to it? I mean, I think it would be better probably in like a British or some of the shorter series where they have like 6 or 8 episodes. 6 episodes might be enough for one book when it comes to Harry Potter, but at the same time, so much stuff happens in those books. Because I mean, I think one of the biggest things that the Harry Potter fans, including me, were disappointed with when it came to the movies was the cutting of the ghosts. Things that we really got attached to in the book that then kind of skimmed over when it came to the films. But obviously, because I mean, it's obvious they spoke to J.K. Rowling, because she said what they could edit and what they couldn't. She even told Alan Rickman secrets of Snape, so that he could get playing the character right, so that when it came to filming Snape, Alan Rickman could come out and say no to the director in regards to certain portrayals and say, I know something you don't know, speak to Joanne, all this, I can't do that because it will affect things later that you don't know about. And I think it's really cool that he got those secrets, because to be fair, I think when it comes to books, especially because she was still writing it, and the fact that they never got ahead of themselves when it came to the books, which is obviously where some mistakes can happen, especially in regards to things like Game of Thrones, where they were continuing to make episodes when they didn't have any more book material to go on, which is what led to the decline of the storytelling. Because they didn't have the source material anymore, they were making it up as they went along, which is why so many people were disappointed with the ending of it. Seeing the response, it's because it didn't fit within the worlds that George R.R. Martin was telling in the books. And to be honest, I feel like that he should have come out and said no. I think there does come to a point where, as an author, where if you feel like that somebody is changing the story, especially in his case where, you know, they were making a TV series out of it and they were going beyond the source material, there should have a point when he could have come out and just said, I'm not happy with where you're taking this and you need to stop. He is the author after all, and when you do take a book and turn it into a series, there is only so much you can do with it, especially when you have got something like the Sharp Objects book being turned into an 8-episode series, and they do have a limited source material because they turned 250 pages into, what was it, about 8 hours worth of footage. But that's still a very, very long series to make out of one book, because obviously when I read it, it was obviously it seemed a lot more of a quicker pace when I was reading it than to watching it, because from book to TV series it can be incredibly difficult to fill the gaps and fill the pacing, because when it comes to a book you're reading descriptions, you're getting internalized thoughts, and they can't always portray that in a series unless they're doing something like 13 Reasons Why, when you're getting the inside of it from the tapes. I haven't actually read 13 Reasons Why the book, and so I'm not completely sure on the comparisons between the book and the series, and a lot of people thought it was just about the shock factor, I guess, which I think part of it was about the shock factor. I mean, I think even the book probably would have had a bit of reaction to that. But yeah, it's an interesting one to think about when you think of comparisons. I mean, because especially when you think of stuff like Hunger Games, a lot of people weren't happy with how the films ended. And then a lot of other people are coming out and saying, actually, it's kind of proving a point into the way it was written, which I actually think is quite clever when you look at how the book was saying, like, because I love the books. I remember, was it a holiday I read them? I think it was a holiday that I read them on, and they were so, so good. And then I watched the first film and didn't watch the rest of them. And I don't really know why I didn't watch the rest of them. At some point I think I do want to watch the rest of them so I can, because I mean, I'll admit I love Jennifer Lawrence, I think she's awesome. And I know that she didn't quite fit what a lot of people had in their minds when they read Katniss, but I think she did a really good job with it. And when you look at the source material in that case, and because so much stuff does happen in the books, and again when it comes to putting it into a movie, there is going to be stuff that's cut and stuff they're going to have to amend for that book to screen adaptation. I feel like my brain and mouth haven't caught up with each other and I'm just saying kind of a stream of nonsense. So if this doesn't make any sense, I might just upload it and just see in the comments if anybody can understand what I'm saying. But yeah, I just think it's an interesting subject, and I think I might do another video on specific comparisons, because for this one, the main thing that kind of triggered this video was Sharp Objects. Watching the series, realising that it felt quite slow paced for me, and then it wasn't my favourite thing that I've ever watched, and then going and reading the book and realising that I preferred the book to the series. I still think Amy Adams was absolutely incredible in the series. For me, it was just the pacing of it. It felt very slow, and then they tried to wrap it up really quickly in the last 2 episodes and then didn't give it a definitive ending, which the book did actually have. So that was my issue with the series. But yes, so if you did enjoy kind of this wandering into my mind about the comparisons between books and films and TV series, you can subscribe to me if you aren't already. You can give me a thumbs up if you are subscribed but you're not completely sure when I upload. I do upload on Wednesdays, but if you click on that bell notification thing, it'll tell you like down to the minute or something that I upload. So I've been Debbie, thanks for watching. If this is the last video you're watching before you go to bed, go click on that other video in the sidebar. Let's see if we can make this a thing. But yeah, so thanks for watching. I've been Debbie. I'll see you next Wednesday. Mwah.